What's happening, my friends? John Lovell here, Warrior Poet Society, and I want to tell you two reasons why you should care about the terrorist attack that happened in Turkey yesterday, and one reason perhaps you should just completely check out and not care. Before I jumped in, though, there's a reason that I was attracted to talking about Turkey in general, and that's because my wife and I, literally just a few weeks ago, were on the street that got bombed. We were rocking all around that area, visiting the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque, and just walking up and down streets, enjoying, Turkish culture and whatever else. The attack happened on a highly populated street. So this is lots of tourists, this is lots of Turks, and it was far more populated because their soccer game was right next door. Now, the first question you may have to ask is, well, who attacked? What happened? And now in this day and age, when everything's just filled with lies and corruption everywhere you go, you're not going to find out. We're not going to find out a whole lot of questions about attacks that even happened with us. We still don't know what happened with the Vegas shooter when we should have gotten answers on that. And some of you in the comments will be like, Epstein didn't kill himself. And no, he didn't. And all that goes to show you're not going to find out jack. Right now, the attack is being blamed on the PKK, which is the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or the Democratic Union Party, PYD, of the attack. And so they're blaming some Kurdistan fighters. The Kurds have absolutely denied this, saying, we don't attack civilians. This totally wasn't us. Now, the official that's blaming them has also blamed the U.S. for different attacks, including not long ago us attacking a police station. And so who knows what kind of gaslighting is happening there? Maybe it's legit. Maybe it was Islamic extremists. Maybe it was leftist extremists, as some people in the legacy media have conjectured. We really have no idea. The details we do know is that a package was delivered by a bench under like a flower basket on the main drag. A woman sat there for 40 minutes and then got up and left. And then shortly after, the bomb was detonated. And so it could have been kind of like a timed device, or it could have been she set off an explosion, or it was all coincidence. We don't really know, but she's been taken into custody and 20-something others were arrested. Now, reasons you should care about this attack. We'll go. The first one is it was a fairly significant attack. 8 are dead and 60 are wounded. That's a pretty bad attack. However, it's not nearly as bad as some of the attacks that have happened in the past, particularly around the world, but specifically in Turkey in general. In 2017, there was a mass shooting where 38-ish people, so 6 times as many nearly, were killed in that place. And then also a very, very bad bombing where I think or something around 39 or 38 as well were killed. And so there were worse bombings in the past. But this is significant because, hey, people died, innocents, civilians, and that's a signal that terrorism is alive and well and, needs to be hunted down and eradicated. That's a reason to care. Here's a reason not to. We got a bunch of election stuff going on. And I think as folks are monkeying around with elections, doing awful stuff, they're kind of like, hey, look over here. And then all of a sudden, world news, and they're not just telling you bad stuff that happens. They're deciding, all right, here's all the stories. What do we want the American people to be focused on? And so perhaps because terrorist attacks are happening all the time. Guess what? They're happening today somewhere in the world, and you're not going to know about them unless legacy media says, hey, care about this. And so they are able to just kind of dangle all these shiny things in front of us. And it is true that whenever any attack happens, that it's a bad thing. But I wonder what sleight of hand is happening as all this election stuff is happening. The balance of power is tilting. And you know that the longer it takes for us to get our election results, the more it's going to lean and give power to the party that doesn't believe in moral absolutes. I'm of the party that believes in moral absolutes. I think there's some things that are wrong always and some things that are right always. And the people that have moral relativity, the means will always justify the ends. And so I just recognize that the longer it takes, the more it's going to tilt one certain way. Particularly, it seems, with the Senate races and less with the gubernatorial races. Here's a second reason to care about what's going on. It means, terrorist attack happens. Bombings happen. I particularly, though, my wife was shaken up by the fact of we were just on that street, and given just a little bit of a time window shift there, it could have happened to us. We could have been victimized. And so that kind of shook her up a little bit. I'm used to almost dying. I've almost been blown up many times through rocket attacks or IED stuff abroad. And so it's kind of like, I've almost died a lot. And it's not that I'm looking for that. It's like, not that it's just a non entity, like I just brush it off and go eat a sandwich, like nothing happened these days. But regardless, it reminds me to count my days to ensure that I am living with the end in mind, because truly any day could be your last. And that doesn't mean that you should fearfully cower in your hovel like a hermit, scared that, death is coming for you. Though death is coming for you, you will not escape it. 100% mortality rate is the rate at which people are dying, and you'll die too. And so the key is to live to the fullest today. Memento mori, be ready, and recognize, hey, crap does happen. But this was my hot take on the terrorist attacks that happened in Turkey. Prayers and thoughts go out to those victims for sure. And to all you warrior poets out there, love you. Thanks for being you. Thanks for holding the line, carrying wherever you are as you're playing zone in a world that is dangerous, but it's made safer because of you. And so I appreciate you. Train hard, train smart, and stay free.